G'day guys, how's it going? Today I'm super excited because we're here with the all-new Hyundai Palisade. In fact, this is a prototype and I'm in an undisclosed location that you may recognize the backdrop of because other car YouTubers use this location, but it's still undisclosed to me. So today we're gonna be testing out this prototype Hyundai Palisade. I'm gonna be taking it for a spin on this test circuit. And of course, I'm gonna be taking you for a full exterior tour of this thing, checking out everything that's new on the interior, all the luxury features, and I'll be testing out how quick it is from 0 to 100 Ks an hour. The results, they may shock you. Let's get into it. Okay guys, let's start with pricing. And of course, this is early days. It's still not completely confirmed, but we know that this thing will come in at around $90,000. And it is gonna be offered in this single calligraphy spec. In fact, I think 83% of Palisade buyers did end up getting the calligraphy spec anyway. So they've simplified it, just one spec. You can get this premium, what looks black, but is actually green paint for an extra $750. I think it looks pretty cool, but it is damn hard to film. You do have obviously the option between a 7-seat or an 8-seat. Of course, the 7-seat variant is slightly more expensive than the 8-seat because you do get the captain's chairs in the second row, which are capable of reclining. They're a bit more comfy, a bit more luxurious. But of course, let's talk about the way that this thing looks because it's a pretty radical departure from the Hyundai Santa Fe. This thing is definitely a lot more curvaceous, a lot more aerodynamic. Check out these daytime running lights. They don't even look like lights, but they're very cool, very bright. You do get these projector LED headlights, no matrix LEDs, unfortunately. Massive grille, very American looking SUV. It is actually kind of plugged up a little bit, but you do get your camera there. Hyundai badge flush there at the front. We have active aero down there. These flaps do open and close. We also get our radar here, cameras up there. In fact, safety is pretty top notch for the Palisade, has been historically. The only thing is the global variant of this does get 10 airbags. Unfortunately, this one only gets 8. You do lose the rear outboard airbags on the Australian spec, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, this thing does look really imposing on the road. And when you see it in person, you'll see it is really large. It is over 5 meters long. It's now wider as well, but you do actually have a shorter front overhang and a longer rear overhang to accommodate more space on the interior. But let's check out the side. Okay guys, coming to the side now, first thing you'll notice are these absolutely massive 21-inch alloy wheels. They are wrapped in Pirelli Scorpion MS tires, pretty good rubber there. And like I said, this thing is pretty large, over 5 meters long now, and a lot more curvaceous design than the Santa Fe. And I think a lot of people will prefer that over the boxy look of that car. If we come to the rest of the side, you'll see we have our 360 cameras there, really good 360 cameras. Of course, we do get keyless entry and go. And of course, this does support the latest version of the Hyundai Smart Key, so you can add it to your Apple Wallet, Google Wallet, all that kind of stuff, and unlock the car remotely with your phone. There are a whole bunch more smart features included with this car, and of course, we will be reviewing this on the channel, so make sure you are subscribed to see that. But needless to say, this thing almost has an EV architecture under the hood, so you do get high voltage vehicle to load as well as 100-watt USB-C ports on the interior. But let's continue with the rest of the side here. You can see we have super duper tinted privacy glass there at the rear, and that does extend all the way to this massive third row window. We do get a pretty massive roof rail up there, and like I said, this rear overhang has been slightly extended to accommodate more space in the boot. But let's check out the arse. All right, coming to the arse now of the new Hyundai Palisade. You can see we have Palisade spelt out there in potentially the longest lettering I've ever seen. Hyundai badge proudly displayed there. Hybrid there in the weird hybrid Hyundai font. And of course, we do get these LED taillights here at the rear, which do mirror the ones up front. We do also have a reversing camera here, which also comes with a little cleaner at the top, so it can shoot water on it if it does get dirty. And there is actually an XRT variant of the Palisade coming to Australia, probably sometime next year. But that is confirmed, and I guess that'll be probably more useful for that variant because that'll be actually going off-road. We do get our nice sporty spoiler up there, which feels pretty hollow and tinny, to be honest. If we open up the tailgate now, you'll see we do get a powered tailgate, and here is where you can really see the improvements they've made on the interior. Oh, one more thing I should mention as well. You do get a full-size spare underneath the car as well. So while some competitors that shall remain unnamed for now have not managed to fit a full-size spare with a hybrid powertrain, Hyundai said we can do better. So well done, Hyundai. We also get some underfloor storage as well. Tire jack there, a little bit of storage here on the left. And in fact, the boot space is much larger now with this third row in place. Here we also have our AC plug. It is 240 volt, 16 amp, which I guess if you multiply it out, it's like 4 kilowatt or something like that. We also have our 12 volt socket here, 180 watt, and all of our controls, power controls for the back 2 rows of seats. We can actually fold both the second and third row completely flat just from the back here. In fact, we can do it all from a single button here just by pressing the all button, and you'll see both rows will fold completely flat, and now you just get an absolutely bonkers amount of storage space, especially because the roof is higher now. So that's pretty incredible. What else do we get back here? Well, we have a couple of tie-down points as well as some hooks for your shopping bags. But apart from that, it's just an absolutely massive boot. So thumbs up from me on that. But let's check out the interior. Okay, guys, the interior of the Palisade is genuinely mind-blowing. And to me, this kind of blurs the line between a Genesis product and a Hyundai product. So let's talk about it. So first up, you get this beautiful two-tone steering wheel up front. There are a number of different interior color options. This one is the brown pure tone, which looks pretty cool. You also have like a white and navy two-tone, which looks awesome in my opinion. On the steering wheel, we do get all of our controls for our adaptive cruise control, lane centering, all that kind of stuff, as well as our media controls on the right. The transmission selector has been moved to a stalk on the steering wheel, just like the Santa Fe and the Kona and all the Kia EV products as well. And we also get paddle shifters here, which are actually for the transmission. So they're not for regen brakes, they are for the 6-speed automatic transmission that this car does come with. Coming to the rest of the interior, I've got to talk about these seats. They're super duper comfy, Napa leather, absolutely everywhere on the interior, super soft to the touch. You do get heating and cooling, as well as what they call an ergo massage, which you can activate with this button here, and it does either a pelvic, lumbar, or whole body stretch, and it will actually turn on automatically after about an hour of driving, which is a really cool feature. And there are actual real wood elements around the interior as well, so this actually goes really nicely with this brown interior. We have not one, not two, but 3 USB-C ports up front, so connectivity is fantastic, and they are all 100-watt fast chargers, so you can charge your devices very, very quickly. You also get a fast wireless charger there as well. Of course, you do get wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and this is the latest version of Hyundai's connected cockpit, or whatever they call it. Very, very cool. The screen is a massive 12.3-inch display. In fact, you get 2 of them, one in front of the driver, one for the infotainment system. It's responsive, simple, intuitively laid out, and you actually still get physical climate controls below the screen, which is fantastic. I hate digging through menus to access temperature controls and fan controls, so you still get it down here. And this is where you'll find your heated steering wheel controls, as well as your cooling and heating for the seats. In terms of practicality, in the front, storage is actually pretty decent. You get a decent sized glove box, as well as a couple of cup holders here. This soft center armrest is nice Napa leather. We can open it up, and it's an absolutely cavernous storage space. Seriously, lots of storage. In fact, it doesn't go all the way down because there is a slidey drawer in the second row, which will impede into this kind of storage space, but at least you get that in the second row. We also, in the center console down here, get a massive storage bin, and it does have a grippy texturized surface to stop things from sliding around. Guys, this is a very practical interior, not to mention these door bins are pretty massive, and there's room to fit 2 water bottles in the door bins. We do get this nice suede headliner here, which feels very premium, and in fact, literally every surface you touch is this beautiful soft touch material, and that's really important for soaking up vibrations and road noise. Speaking of noise, this Bose sound system is pretty epic. It's a 16-speaker sound system. Sounds amazing. So yeah, moral of the story, Hyundai absolutely killing it with the new Santa Fe and Palisade. But let's check out the rear seats and see how that extra wheelbase has translated. Okay, I forgot to do a thong test in the front, but I'm gonna do it in the rear. And actually, if I open up this door, you'll see we do have a safety sensor here, so that will alert me to oncoming traffic if there is someone about to hit my door, so I can quickly close it. And speaking of, that was a pretty damn good thonk. In fact, this car feels very solidly put together, and I'm happy to be sitting in the second row because my mummy and daddy didn't cheap out, and they got the 7-seat version, which comes with these captain's chairs, which means I get this beautiful, nice Napa leather armrest. This seat is so comfy. It's got heating, ventilating, and it can also fully recline, which is really cool to see. Amenities back here are also pretty decent. So we do get 2 100-watt USB-C ports. In fact, there are 6 100-watt USB-C ports in total in this car. So connectivity is fantastic, and they do use that high voltage EV architecture as well. Storage in the back is pretty decent. We can open up this center bin, and there's actually a decent amount of space in there. We also get these nice folio pockets here, and we also get cup holders in the doors, which is good to see. A little phone holder there too. And you might be thinking, where are the 3rd zone climate controls? Because surely this thing comes with a 3rd zone of climate. Well, all you have to do is look up. And in fact, there you go. You've also got your cooled and heated seat controls and your fan controls for the 3rd zone. Speaking of the ceiling, we also get a really cool split panoramic sunroof. The front does open, but the rear is just a glass roof, but it still adds a lot of airiness to the interior. We can also, if the sun is perving on us, close that, and you get nice luxury sunshades. Speaking of luxury, you can also fold the front seat, forward from the rear. That's a typical Hyundai inclusion. Space in the back, as you'd expect, is pretty damn impressive. So I've got plenty of legroom, plenty of toe room, and plenty of headroom as well. Albeit the fact that I am, you know, a 3'3" individual. But let's check out the space in the third row. All right, so getting into the third row is pretty simple. All I have to do is press this button and, oh, probably should fold that away while I do that. This might be a pre-production thing as well, but this seat seems to smush itself extra hard into the front seat. Oh, it's not doing it now. Anyway, it was doing it before. So pretty easy to get in, nice big aperture to climb through, and I can then press that button and the seat will return. Ooh. Fold this headrest up. Now, obviously my leg angle isn't ideal back here. You know, it is the third row, but it's still very much usable. I have enough leg room, I have enough headroom. We do have air vents back here as well, so I don't feel cramped. We also get a couple of cup holders and heated seats in the third row, which is really impressive to see. Of course, another couple of 100-watt USB-C ports. So in terms of third rows, this one is one of the best. If you have a larger family, I mean, there's a reason why the Palisade is a very popular choice for large families. You know what else is really popular? CarSauce Buy. And that's because, in fact, thousands of you guys have used the service already to save yourself some casherino on your new car. So if you are in the market for any new car, whether it's a Hyundai Palisade or any car for that matter, make sure you scan the QR code on screen now or just Google CarSauce Buy. And our dedicated team of car buyers will help you get the best deal on your new car. All right, guys, it's time to launch this thing. All right, guys, I'm sitting in the prototype Hyundai Palisade, and of course, we're going to test its 0 to 100K an hour launch. I am already in sport mode, so I'm gonna just brake boost it. Let's hope I have enough road to test out this 0 to 100. They do claim 7.3 seconds to 100, so let's see if we can hit that today. I've got my specialist timing gear. You're gonna fist me. Let's do this. Oh, I'm in EV only mode. Oh, gentle launch. Come on. Come on, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Woo! I think we might have beaten the claim, but it does look like it was slightly downhill. I've got nowhere else to test it, unfortunately, guys. But we did hit 0 to 100 in 7.07 seconds at a very, very slight downhill angle. But yeah, very impressive there. Let's drive this thing normally. Alrighty, guys, here we are driving the prototype Hyundai Palisade. Ooh, let me just turn off those speed limit warnings. Yep, they're still here. So let's talk about what powers this thing, because this is probably the wildest part of this car. They've got an all-new 2.5 litre turbocharged petrol hybrid powertrain, and this is essentially an evolution over what you find in the Santa Fe hybrid, where that powertrain has basically a starter motor generator as well as an electric motor that helps drive the wheels. This thing has 2 electric motors with a clutch sandwiched between them, so they are capable of decoupling. And this all happens without you doing anything. So essentially what happens is the engine is capable of completely decoupling from the wheels. And you can really feel that in the way that this thing delivers power. It feels a lot more like an EV. You get that kind of instant torque while also having the engine act as a generator and be able to apply power. So you kind of get both a parallel and a series hybrid, the best of both in this powertrain. It's very interesting. And I'm especially excited about this Palisade because this is the first all-wheel drive petrol Palisade offered for a right-hand drive market. So Hyundai were telling me earlier that they've been trying to get this car into Australia with this kind of powertrain for so long, but we finally got it. So gone is the 2.2 litre diesel, gone is the 3.8 petrol. Now you've just got this 2.5 turbo, and you actually do get a 6-speed automatic transmission as well. So these paddle shifters here, they actually do stuff. They're not just for regen braking. Now let's talk about how much power and torque this thing has, because it's actually pretty decent. You get 245 kilowatts of power. Like I said, that goes to all 4 wheels, 460 Newton meters of torque. So definitely some decent power outputs there. Let's give it a bit of sauce here. Oh yeah. Now, of course, we have to talk about the suspension tune because this thing feels pretty damn comfy. And obviously, I have to say, this is still a prototype car, but it is almost production ready. So this did get a local suspension and steering tune. It does sit on passive dampers, and they have been tuned specifically for Australian conditions. So we're charging up the battery there as we rev. Very, very smooth power delivery. It's also got a trick system, which is also found in the Kia EV9, where it auto levels the rear through a hydraulic system. So no air suspension, no computer control. It's all automatically leveling the rear. And that just helps the rear end kind of respond a bit better to bumps. It doesn't float or crash as much. It kind of just finds that nice middle ground. Let me switch over now because I've been driving in eco mode. Now we're in sport mode. Let's give it some sauce. Oh yeah. You can really feel they let the electric motors cut loose a bit there. Oh wow, this thing is pretty quick, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of surprising me. You can definitely feel the weight and the size of it though. And this thing has a pretty big battery as well. It's like 1.6 kilowatt hours, and that is what is used to power all of the higher voltage electrical components in the car. Another thing that Hyundai were telling me is all the work they've put into NVH, and of course, yeah, you get, you know, billions of tons of hot stamped steel in this car. Yeah, they kind of always say that with their cars, but it is very true. This thing feels very rigid. I can't feel any vibrations being passed into the cabin. Obviously, like I said, prototypes, take it with a grain of salt, but needless to say, they've put a lot of work into the NVH. Of course, this will come with all of the latest versions of the Hyundai safety suite, including adaptive cruise control and lane centering, all of that. So it will no doubt drive itself down a highway, no problem. Overall, this thing drives pretty damn well, and Hyundai have definitely worked their magic once again on this local tuning. I have to say, this 2.5 turbo petrol hybrid, it's a pretty damn good powertrain. And of course, in terms of efficiency, it's still a pretty good story. So they do claim 6.8 liters per 100 kilometers on the WLTP, which is pretty decent for a car of this size, you know, over 5 meters long, 8 seats, with also a 2.5 liter turbo petrol powertrain. So decent efficiency, and that's also on 91 petrol. So yeah, overall, pretty impressed by the way this thing drives. But I guess we're gonna have to get into my final thoughts. Okay guys, final thoughts now on the Palisade. What do I think? Well, obviously I can't tell you if it's worth the money because we don't know exactly how much it costs. But let's say this thing is in the low 90s. You know, $11,000 increase over the outgoing Palisade for an all-new hybrid powertrain actually seems pretty good value to me, especially if you look at something like the Chery Tiggo 4. I know, other end of the spectrum in terms of size and price, but the hybrid version of that is $8,000 more than the petrol version. So the fact that you can get this new all-wheel drive petrol Palisade for only 11 grand more than the outgoing version. The longer wheelbase, the more spacious interior, of course, the local ride and handling and steering tuning. I think this car is a bit of a winner. But of course, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you guys are in the market for a Hyundai Palisade or any new car for that matter, make sure you go to CarSauce Bike or scan the QR code on screen now, and our dedicated team of car specialists will help you get the best price on your next car. Ciao for now.